Is something wrong?
You are what is wrong. Chantal said there would be no more guests to make noise at all hours and disturb my training. Yet what stands before me? A new guest.
No, I'm not a guest. I'm Nancy Drew, the new maid, and the new cook.
Forgive me. Allow me to start over. I am Yanni Vokstaya. I am here to train for the Eastern European Cross-Country Championship. I spend my days doing interval work, drills, and isometric exercises. I follow a strict program, one painstakingly designed by a team of the best coaches in Fredonia. In fact, under no circumstances are you to use your key to let anyone into my room. My competitors are constantly spying on me, trying to steal my techniques.
You think someone's spying on you way out here?
One can never be too careful, so know this. If anything is missing or so much as out of place in my room, you can expect a visit from me, and it will not be a pleasant one.
Have you ever seen the wolf while you were out training?
No, for which I'm very grateful. In my country, in Fredonia, it is said that the gaze of the wolf will make you go blind.
You don't really believe that, do you?
They are creatures of infinite evil, and that is all I am going to say on the matter.
I hear that a major cross-country skiing competition may be held in this area in a couple of years.
This is very true. It will rival the Olympics.
Could that be the real reason you came here to train?
As long as I have to train, why not train in the place where I must eventually put that training to use? As we say in Fredonia, I am simply milking two goats with one bucket. Besides, my competitors will stop at nothing to defeat me. I am forced to seek out and exploit every possible advantage open to me. I take no pride in some of the things I've done to bring victory to my country, but I have no choice.
I've disturbed you long enough.
Come back any time.
Need something?
You look busy. What are you making?
I'm building something that's gonna solve all our problems. A wolf trap. One that'll finish off that thing out there once and for all.
You think the wolf is causing the accidents?
Not a doubt in my mind. Everything was A-OK till it showed up and started howling. It's bad luck, and something's protecting it. Something unnatural.
Why do you say that?
Yesterday I went looking for it. I tracked it and finally found it, sitting across the creek, not 20 yards away from me, just staring at me. So I raised my rifle, drew a bead, and fired. Easiest shot I've ever taken in my life. And I missed. So I fired again, and I missed, and then I missed again, and all the while it just sat there staring until finally it just stood up, walked toward the brush just as calm as could be, and disappeared. Wild animals just don't act like that, and I just don't miss like that. There's something real weird about that wolf, and I ain't gonna rest till I get rid of it. So maybe we should just find something else to job out. You met my little girl yet?
No, but you mentioned that her name is Freddie?
Yep. Spends most of her time outside. She built herself a little snow fort. Just sits out there waiting for somebody to go by so she can pick a snowball fight with them. I keep asking her how she manages to stay warm all day, but she won't tell me. Says she's got a secret weapon. Yeah, she's something.
Can you tell me more about the accidents that have been happening around here?
Nope, sure can't.
You can't or you don't want to?
Chantal and those lawyers of hers said I couldn't talk about them. Supposed to direct all questions to her. Sorry.
How long have you worked for Chantal?
About 1.5 years. I was her first hire, best hire, too. I could run this place single-handed if I had to, just like I'm doing now.
The first time I talked to Chantal, she mentioned you used to be a rancher. Do you miss ranching?
Yeah, a little. Tough life, though. Owned my own spread about 15 years ago. Well, bank owned most of it. And after 2 bad winters and 1 bone-dry summer, the bank owned all of it. But I've learned a whole lot since then. I could make it work now. Just need to find the right property, get my hands on enough cash to make a down payment, that's all.
Does your wife, Freddie's mom, does she live here too?
In the summer she does, but in the winter she goes south. See, she's got this nerve condition that makes her real sensitive to cold. Freddie'd like to go with her, but until Chantal stops putting off giving me that raise she promised me, sending Freddie south too is out of the question.
I'll get out of your hair now.
See you later.
Was gonna show up on caller ID. This is Tino Balducci. Remember me? From that last train to Blue Moon Canyon we went on? Yeah, I'm the one who helped you find that long-lost treasure.
I'm not sure helped is the right word, Mr. Balducci.
Please, call me Tino.
In fact, Tino, I'm a little surprised you're still in law enforcement, considering some of the unethical, if not illegal, stunts you pulled back then.
Hey, that's all behind me. Ancient history. Water under the bridge. So, looks like we're gonna be working together on this sabotage thing, huh?
Looks like.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm working on something that'll pretty much crack this case wide open. But in the meantime, what can I do you for?
I'm curious, how do you know Chantal?
Friend of a friend heard about all the problems she was having up there and immediately figured she could use my crime-solving expertise. So I gave her a call, we had lunch, we hit it off, and bingo. I got myself a new client.
How many clients do you have?
I have enough. I mean, you go spreading yourself too thin in this business, and the next thing you know, crime out the wazoo.
I'd better go.
Always a pleasure.
Hello?
Hi, Chantal. It's Nancy Drew.
You know who's behind the accidents?
Not quite yet.
Oh.
About Tino, I'm not totally comfortable with the idea of consulting with him on this case.
Why not? Two heads are always better than one, and I find him to be very knowledgeable and kind of charming.
Do you know what he did when we were on that train trip Laurie Gerard arranged?
He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did say that that's all water under the bridge. Besides, I'm paying him, and I want to get my money's worth. So like it or not, you're going to consult with him. Understood?
Understood.
Good. Anything else?
I'd like to know more about the accidents. I asked Ollie, but he said you said he wasn't allowed to talk about them.
I didn't mean he couldn't talk about them with you. Ugh. I'll give him a call. As for the accidents, the first thing that happened was the worst. The Faringdale family and Becky the cook all came down with food poisoning and had to be hospitalized. Somehow, the potato salad got contaminated, although Becky swears it wasn't because of anything she did. I cannot tell you how awful it was. All 5 people became violently ill at roughly the same time. But were they all in the same room? Of course not. They were spread out all over the lodge. Poor Elsa was cleaning for days. And the odor? Oh my gosh. Anyway, then Carl Jenkins slipped on the stairs outside and broke his leg. Then Lou Talbot's window was broken. Then Elsa the maid's tires were slashed. Then the phone wires were cut. And then... oh yeah, and then the Southwaites were almost overcome by fumes when gas started leaking into the sauna.
But the only incidents that you can be sure were sabotage were the tires, the phone wires, and maybe the explosion in the bunkhouse?
I'm not sure about anything. That's why you're there, to sort everything out before something else happens.
Did you know that some photos are missing from the display case in the lobby?
Really? Last I looked, they were all there. I think.
The caption for them says something like, "Young and old have stayed at Icicle Creek Lodge."
I can't remember they were pictures of, and I sure don't know why they'd be missing.
That bone Trapper Dan found is missing from its case, too.
First the accidents, now someone's stealing from me? Nancy, you've got to find out what's going on there. If you don't, I'll never be able to convince my dad I'm not a loser. Ever.
How come the entries for last year were deleted from the guest register?
They've been deleted?
That's what the computer says. Contents deleted.
Well, I didn't delete them. Freddie.
Ollie's daughter? Has she done other things like that?
No, but you know how kids are these days. Always hacking into computers, programming them to spread viruses and steal passwords and blow up the world.
I think that's only in movies. Besides, pretty much all this person had to do was press the delete key.
I still say it was Freddie. Last week, I called that Snow Princess game she's always playing idiotic. I think it hurt her feelings. But she'd just gotten done plastering me with snowballs. What'd she expect me to say? That felt great. Do it again?
The guests that are in the lodge now, did any of them stay here last year?
Let's see. Lou Talbot stayed here last summer, but only very briefly. His car had broken down and he was waiting for a tow truck. Oh, and Yanni, he was here last winter. He and his trainer, they were checking out places to train. They didn't stay long either.
Has anyone talked to you about the World Championship cross-country skiing competition that's going to be held somewhere in this area year after next?
That is something I am not at liberty to discuss.
In other words, the answer is yes.
I didn't say that. Why do you ask?
That would tend to make Icicle Creek Lodge a very desirable piece of real estate, wouldn't it?
If the championship is held nearby, which as far as I know, still hasn't been decided. You think someone's been causing these accidents to run me out of business so they can buy the lodge from me on the cheap?
It's a thought.
And a pretty nasty one at that.
Is it true that you promised Ollie a raise, but you haven't given it to him yet?
He told you that? I can't believe it.
Meaning...
Okay, I mentioned to Ollie once that I thought he maybe deserved a raise, and now every time I turn around, he's all like, "Where's the raise you promised me? Where's the raise you promised me?" Doesn't he realize I have a few other things to think about right now? I swear, sometimes that crabby little whiner drives me nuts.
Nothing else to report.
Don't let me down, okay?